next priority, it's homelessness. So we have three priorities, and those are permitting, homelessness, and then we'll do astronomy after this. So my first question is, what is your short-term and long-term action plan to combat homelessness, specifically in West Hawaii? What do you plan to do to accomplish this?
So I think there was a plan that went through, and there was a groundbreaking with the administration now, and Harry came with across the Civic Center of a new modular home area where there will be, if I'm not mistaken, numerous amount of transitional homes built and managed by the Hope Services. I think the short-term plan, we got to malama our homeless ohana, period. So this is the stats. In our homeless ohana and the population, 40% of homeless is kids under 16 years old. 19% of that is under 6%. And this is numbers from Hope Services. So, you know, there's a lot of people that are homeless during this time. I think the first thing that we want to make sure that we can work with Hope Services to come up with the best plan for homeless ohana. And we have 18 transitional homes in Kailua. That's a step in the right direction, but it's not enough. So there's, you know, there's a lot of issues with homelessness, and it all comes to affordable housing. A lot of our homeless people are local people, local families. You don't see them on the road. You don't see they're living in cars in West Hawaii. And sad to say it, I was walking down the street one day, and on Anake, and I seen one of the homeless people, and it was my cousin. 3 years ago, she wasn't homeless. 3 years later, today, she is. And I said, how did you get homeless? Is because the system that they live in, they can't afford living on Hawaii Island. They can't afford renting, because if we all know they have 3 kids, they all know that living in Kona, a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house is, you're looking at over $2,800 for a rental. So, you know, I think, and there's a small percentage of other homeless that fly in and just live on the streets. But I think a lot of the bigger percentages are local people, which is 70% of of the homeless population is local. So we got to find some affordable housing for our families and transition and provide different services for them to succeed in the community. There's some of the things that we are looking at, my team, myself. Department of Hawaiian Homelands, that's an awesome idea. So Department of Hawaiian Homelands, there's 273,000 acres in the state of Hawaii. There's over 44,000 people on the waiting list. There's 14,000 people on the waiting list on Hawaii Island. If we take 10% of that 14,000 people and award them their property of 1, 2, 3 acres, because it is part of the Department of Hawaiian Homelands initiative to give these people their property, to live on that property. You just took out 1,400 people out of their homes, and those homes become available to the rental, the overall rental properties on Hawaii Island. And because there's more rentals open, the price goes down. So it's like a supply and demand. We talked to Department of Hawaiian Homelands if that's a possibility. That's a full-on possibility. Section 8, you know, we got to make sure that Section 8 is, we got to change some of the policies in there, because a lot of the people that is under Section 8 is low-income families. And there's a stigma that, you know, if we want to, with the property owners, if you want to rent out a property under Section 8, they're afraid to rent it out to low-income homes because, you know, the value of their homes might be decreasing because of the stigma of they might, you know, ruin the homes or not respect their homes. But there's a lot of different things that we're looking at right now. I don't know if that could answer your question.
Well, thank you. Well, that was great. Thank you. All right, and so next question. We would like to have a county position dedicated to homelessness in West Hawaii. How will you make this happen?
So, if we look at all the departments, there's no department that is, we've been trying to figure this thing out because there is no department that specifically take care of homeless. There's no, I mean, we've been looking at research and development. We're looking at housing, Department of Housing. So there, we want to help the homeless owner as much as possible. And I think the only way we can help the homeless owner is working with the nonprofit organizations like Hope Services and Neighborhood Homes of Puna. But Hope Services is island-wide, and try to help them to, again, with the permitting process, push forward, streamline the permitting process for modular homes and transitional homes for our homeless people. But we tried to look at what departments would help our homeless ohana, and there is none. There is no specifically department that could help the homeless.
We're aware of that.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that we can get a position dedicated to homeless in West Hawaii. And then with that, we also are well aware of Kukuleola, and we've been advocating for that construction to happen.
Yeah.
And we know that the funding is in place, but we would also like to be able to collaborate and to be a part of that process. And so, again, how would you make community connect to some of these problems? Solving some of these problems.
I think, we're going to back up to the other question, and maybe can answer this question. One thing that we could do with the county government is open up an employee that specifically takes care of and find the best funding or solutions for homeless. And that employee could be working with our community development and how to get the community involved on how to help our homeless ohana, where we should build these, how much modular homes or transitional homes we should be building in one place. Is there a possibility of opening up more, not only in Kailua Kona, but also somewhere else on the West Hawaii area, South Kona? Because, everywhere we turn, and obviously we're going to have a lot more people going homeless after this pandemic. I, for one, is right at the verge of going to homeless, but that's only a joke. But anyways, we all are at that threshold of, kind of being in the homeless area. But that's one thing that we are looking at, is maybe opening up a couple positions that just specify in homelessness, and working with the community and the homeless ohana and the nonprofit organizations.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. And so I guess that's part of it, is that we just would really like one of those positions to be here where the people are living it and seeing it. That's part of it. And then the last question is, are you familiar with the LEAD program and its effectiveness in West Hawaii? The LEAD program that has to do with homelessness?
I heard about the LEAD program through some of the Hope Services coordinators in Kona. So I heard, I got familiar just a little, not too much, didn't get into detail yet, but I would love to learn more about it, of the LEAD program.
Okay. All right, thank you. So those were questions on that topic.